Happy Monday. What's up, my MGTOW brothers? You know what I'm saying? Happy Father's Day. Uh, Not belated, but it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? It's the first Monday back. You know. Um, Today I'm gonna dictate an article to y'all that I found on Facebook. And it's titled "10 Ways Men Oppress Women with Their Everyday Behavior." I read the first few things of it, and it made me laugh. So I stopped and went to go get my phone so I can go ahead and dictate this to y'all in time. It's dated a couple years ago, January 19th, 2015, but it's funny. You know what I'm saying? It came again as far as all the lingo. But I'll go ahead and start. Manspreading and manslamming are just the beginning. By now, you've heard of manspreading, when a guy sits with his legs apart in the subway to assert his dominance, and manslamming, when a man doesn't get out of the way of a woman on the street and they run into each other. The funny thing, I gotta stop right here, because the funny thing is that I remember when I was in middle school, and it would be two dudes walking in opposite directions down the locker hall. And you can get out the guy's way, dip your shoulder a little bit, or you could run into him and maybe catch a fade, or maybe have a fight. Why a woman would want to run into a man knowing that he could knock her down with his shoulder or whatever, it amazes me. But anyway, that's female logic. While these are definitely very important women's issues, there are still so many more we need to be talking about. Here are 10 words for even more ways men are constantly oppressing women. Broplimenting. I guess that's like complimenting. This is when a guy says something nice to you without asking for your consent first. Men should always ask, "Do you consent to me complimenting you?" before saying anything nice, or else it's assault. Nonverbal cues don't count. He still has to ask for explicit consent before offering that kind of affection. Mansulting. This is when a man says something really mean to you, like the opposite of broplimenting. Mansults are worse than insults because each one is another brick being added to the fortress of the patriarchy that surrounds you every day, no matter how hard you try to fight it with hashtags on feminist Twitter. Broken mouth chewing. When people see a man chewing with his mouth open, most think that it's just him being rude. But that's just because most people aren't educated on women's issues. Social justice scholars realize that feeling the need to display the crushing and grinding of food is actually a sign of dominance over the lesser being that you are consuming. Especially if it's meat, because eating meat is sexist, because women need to show solidarity with animals, because that's how the world sees us anyway, like animals. And we have to be fair. And we have to be their friends. I am only interested in dating vegan men who make sure they have chewed and swallowed all of their food before we return to talking about how many microaggressions there are in the restaurant. It's so romantic. I guess it's the chick that wrote this, but okay. Mentoring. I like how mentoring already has men in it. They don't have to add any kind of men or bro to it. You've heard this word before, but unless you're as educated and culturally aware as I am, you probably have never thought of how sexist it is. Oh, wow. Why isn't it womantoring, huh? I'll tell you why. It's because we live in a society where people think men are the only ones who can give advice. Seriously, I hate when like my boss or my dad tries to help me or give me feedback and acts like it's because he has more experience, when we all know it's just because he thinks he's better than me because he's a man and I'm a woman, right? I fight against this by refusing to take advice or direction from men and smearing anyone who tries to offer it in a Jezebel post. I just did this with my boss, actually, and guess what? He fired me. Just more proof of sexism in the workplace. You know, it's funny because honestly, I do find that women reject advice from men. Like my ex would always either not inform me of things going on because she knew I would talk her out of it, or she would just not take my advice at all and then be sorry later and, you know, admit to me with her tail between her legs that I was right and she was wrong. For some strange reason, it's hard to do. I mean, you know, and I have left a challenge out there that if anybody can prove me wrong, please prove me wrong, because I will only be wrong about that one thing, that one time, and never again. That's called learning, people. Anyway, bitches. Sleep, sleep, I guess it's supposed to be sleep apnea, but it's sleep apnea. Men snore because they have to keep imposing their existence on us even while they are asleep. It is, of course, different from women snoring. When a woman snores, it's because she has been interrupted all day and needs some way for her voice to be heard. By the way, if a man ever tells you that your snoring bothers him, what he really means is that he is uncomfortable with the idea of a woman being heard. Okay. Mantroduction. If a man introduces you instead of letting you introduce yourself, that's because he wants to control your identity. If you are out with a guy and he says, "This is my girlfriend," leave immediately. Sure, he might just have been trying to be respectful, but don't feel bad for him. That would mean he doesn't understand his privilege and that you don't want to be with someone that dumb and out of touch anyway. Manspiration. This is when a man tries to inspire you with a story from his own life as if he has any idea of what your life is like as a woman. Yeah, because, you know, women know how it is to be a man. That's why women wake up and want to be trans men, because they know how it is to be a man. I feel like a man today. Now, while that's unacceptable, it's also past time to recognize that men and women are equal and exactly the same. Sometimes guys say this makes no sense and is contradictory and ask me to explain, but that's an example of manspiration. Manterrogating. This is when a man asks you to explain anything or questions anything you say. This is included but not limited to being asked to explain contradicting lines of thought or provide any actual facts or evidence to support your claims. A real man knows the only acceptable thing to do is blindly accept anything that comes out of a woman's mouth rather than to continue gender disparities by manterrogating her. Wow. This must be a parody article. I can't believe a woman actually wrote this. Or am I giving women too much credit? Man-packing. Similar to man-spreading, when men sit with their legs apart on the subway and take up too much room. Man-packing is when men bring large backpacks onto the subway and take up too much room. Before you dare manterrogate me and ask why it's a gender issue when women can have large bags too, check your privilege and realize that the only reason women have backpacks is for makeup, and it's other items they need to measure up to the standards imposed on her by the patriarchy. If you see a woman with a large backpack taking up space, the only person you should be mad at is yourself for imposing that backpack on her with your unrealistic standards of beauty. Wow. Mensoring. I guess this is like male censoring. This is when men censor their cool party bro time stories around women because they don't think we can handle anything offensive. Wow. Seriously, treat us the same. It's not like we're going to get offended or anything. Wow. Catherine Timpf, Timpf, is a reporter at National Review Online, and that's the woman who wrote this article. Interesting. Catherine Timpf. All right. Sounds familiar, like I've heard that name before. Anyway, I hope you guys got a kick out of that article. Just a brief overview. It was broplimenting, which is a man complimenting a woman. Mansulting, when a man insults a woman. Broken mouth chewing, when a man chews with his mouth open. Mentoring. We didn't put man in that. Sleep mapnea. What the hell? Mantroduction. Manspiration. Manterrogating. I like that one. I do that all the time. I manterrogate the shit out of women. Don't say nothing to me, because I'm going to manterrogate the shit out your ass. Manpacking and mansering. Yeah. I'm a manterrogator, like a motherfucker, you know. But wow, that was amusing. So fellas, let me know what you feel, what you think about this, and you know, leave a comment in the space provided below, and let me know how you feel. If you agree, disagree, if you think it was a parody article, or you think it was an actual real article by a woman. It was by a woman, yeah, but were we supposed to take it seriously? I don't, you know, and I'm kind of disappointed, because if it was an article that I thought wasn't a parody, I would have had a lot more shit to talk about rather than just reading the article. But, you know, I'll try to find something else, man, because I'm not really satisfied or fulfilled, because my eyebrows aren't that wrinkled from this article or this post. But anyway, to all my fellas, you know, brothers, live up. You know, let's do better today than we did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And let's do better tomorrow than we're going to do today. You know, and if anybody doesn't like what I have to say, open your mouth and let me know how this dictate. Ha 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 ha. Peace.